have no plan for your reading, you can ultimately wind up being frustrated, nervous, wasting time, and getting the wrong answer anyway. Enter our skim, skim, read, answer strategy. Take a look at the Lawrence Yep passage. I'm going to direct you through the 12-minute process of skimming the article, skimming the questions and answers, reading the article, and then answering the questions. You're going to use that timer again, and we're going to walk through this together. Now remember, and I reminded everybody of this every time today, you need to make sure you read every single word that's on the page. Skimming, remember, is not scanning. They're not the same thing. It's not, I'm done. Skimming is actually reading every word but not stopping if you get confused and your understanding is hindered. Plow through it. You'll get an overall sense for the main idea and understanding of what the article's getting at. You're still reading every word, but you're doing it quickly and you're not stopping when you don't understand something. Okay? I'm going to give you 4 minutes to do this. You can hit pause on me, use that clock again, hit pause on me, and use those 4 minutes. Go. Okay, now that you've done the skimming of the actual passage, hopefully you realize that there are two separate pieces to this passage. There's the actual passage and then there's an interview. Hopefully you read all of that, and hopefully you got a sense of the overall gist. We use the 5 W's and an H because it's an informational text, not necessarily a narrative text where it's telling a story. It does have little elements of story in it, but it's mostly information about his life that we're focused on. So we're using the 5 W's and an H instead of the 4 biggies to get us to the main idea of the article. Now, I want you to skim the questions and the answers. Set the clock for 2 minutes. Skim the questions and the answers. Read every single word on the page, yes, including the directions. That will give you some focus for what you're going to go back and actually read the article with a sense of what you're looking for and a purpose. Press pause on me, set the clock for 2 minutes, go. Okay, now that you've skimmed the questions and the answers, now you have a specific focus as to what the test makers, the writers, are looking for if you know. That's what they want you to connect to the article about. So now you've got a focus, you've got a purpose. Go back and really read. And don't flip back and forth from passage to questions. That lets you miss out on certain pieces of information. Remember, Mrs. Burns and I have a little bit of a different philosophy when it comes to test taking, but we come from the same place. She says, don't skim. The reason she says that is because most people don't skim correctly. We know better now. Most people, when they say they're skimming, they're just scanning. They're not actually reading, and so they miss a lot of stuff. So that's why she said don't skim. But we know that skim really just means read quickly. Make sure you read every word for overall understanding. Okay, so that's where our differences are actually a similarity that's just expressed differently. Also, she says, don't read the questions beforehand. Why she says that is because when she and I used to take multiple choice tests, there used to be one ridiculous answer, one answer that was mostly ridiculous, but you could kind of maybe see in a far-off galaxy how it would be true, and then there was one pretty good answer and one definitely right answer. That's not how tests are anymore. If you've noticed, when you've been taking these assessments, you've got 4 answers that could technically be considered correct, and they want the best answer. If you hunt and peck, which is what she's trying to avoid by saying, don't look at the questions first. No, look at the questions first, but understand that you can't go back and forth, because as soon as you think you found an answer, you may have found a decent answer, but you probably didn't find the best answer if you're not fully reading over with purpose and intent again. Keep that in mind. We're both coming from the same place. My strategy is just a little different because I'm taking her advice, coupling it with my advice, and giving you a practical strategy because I know that it's useful to read the questions first a lot of the time. Okay, so now that you've got this focus, take 4 minutes and really read. And make sure you stay on this page, star, underline, highlight, wherever you think you're going to find the answer, and do so. Okay, now that you've actually read through the article, go back and answer the questions. You've got 2 minutes, maybe you can fudge it a little bit more because you know we've got 3 or so minutes of fudge time per article. So what I want you to do is I want you to take these 2 minutes. You can flip back and forth as many times as you want to right now to confirm your correct answer, but make sure that you are really working towards doing that. Okay? So press pause on me, go back and answer the questions. Alright, you have successfully completed your first go-round at True Skim Read Answer. I'm going to give you the answers here. If you have any problems, come see me. Okay, come see me during a small group or remedial before or after school sometime and see me and say, Mr. Kaz, I really just need you to go over these answers. 8, question number 8 is D, getting along with neighbors. You were asked to fill out that outline. D is what fills into that slot. 9, answer is A. His English teacher encouraged him to write. 10 is C. He uses a wide variety of writing styles and topics. 11 is D. The flow chart is D. Wanted to be a part of American culture only. Then he became interested in Chinese culture. Then he became a part of both cultures. Number 12, answer was D. It explains the link between the author's heritage and his writing. 13 is A. Learn to embrace your own differences. Hopefully you noticed going through that you probably actually got a lot more correct than you're used to getting correct, or it was actually a lot easier for you to find the correct answers using this strategy. Guys, it's the same stuff we've been doing all year long. It's just in a different setting. You're timed and you're in a little bit of a more high-pressure situation, but it's really not. It's really not, because remember what we've been talking about all week. This is not your value as a person. This is your stage in the process, okay? We had one last piece of practice for this SSRA strategy in first, third, and fourth period. What I'm going to ask you to do is use the same process and understand that we're going to go over the questions, the answers to the questions tomorrow for this earth, water, and sky passage. So you know the time you need to put in. You've got 4 minutes to skim the passage for overall understanding, 2 minutes to skim the questions and answers to give you a context and a purpose and a focus for your reading. You've got 4 minutes to actually read the article and underline or highlight or star where you think the answers are. And then you've got 2 questions to go through and actually answer the questions. You can flip back and forth as many times as you want to once you hit that last stage. But you know what the timings are. I'm going to ask that you do that on your own instead of just waiting for me to stand here and say pause, play, pause, play.
Please report to the middle
You'll be able to practice this on your own. Come prepared if you're in first, third, or fourth period to actually have these answers read to you tomorrow so that we can discuss why the right answers are the right answers and why the wrong answers are the wrong answers. Thank you guys. Have a great day. I know this was a long one. Thank you for hanging in there with me. Have a good day.